vtta.
Hell yeah!
The basics. Install and configure the D&D Beyond Integration. Let's get set up. I just created a new world in my Foundry server and I logged in as a game master. I installed the Chrome extension and I'm ready to connect both things. So first I will display the icon by clicking this little puzzle icon where I can adjust which extensions should display the icon all the time. Because I use it often, I will pin the vtta-io D&D Beyond Integration to the start screen, so it's now displayed all the time here. Let's click it and the Chrome extension pop-up menu appears. We can see two things. First, it detects this tab seems to show my Foundry server because of the tab title, but it's unable to connect unless I click that button. It will also say account linking is required. You can see in the top it's not connected to a user and I should visit vtta-io. Let's do that by clicking on this link. I'm already logged in here, but you will see if I log out and sign in with a Google account, I will see my name appearing in the top right. When I go to my profile, you will see which information is stored about you, and most importantly, it will detect the Chrome extension and its version number, and it will the account will be connected into the extension. You can see that here. Now it has my name, my email address, and that I'm a supporter of the Patreon campaign. This is because I already connected my Patreon account here. If you didn't do that already, you should definitely do that. And while we're at connecting accounts, it would be beneficial to connect your Discord account here too. If you do not know what Discord is, it's a great chat tool and you can reach out to many helpful members of the community to get help, tips, and other hints using Foundry and running your D&D games more smoothly. At the very bottom you can see what kind of information is currently stored on vtta.io about you. So I'm really looking at a very small set of data that I want to know about you in order to function. So with that out of the way, the extension is now connected to the account and all my features are unlocked. Here you will see, is this browser tab showing a Foundry server? It doesn't seem like it. I could be wrong though, so you can still try to connect. And it will time out and say, okay, unsuccessful. So let's head over to the real Foundry tab and try that here. This is my Foundry tab and I click it and it will time out, unsuccessful. Why? Because it still needs a partner to talk to, and that is the vtta modules. Let's go to Manage Modules and enable these. We always need vtta-core, it's the basis for all future developed modules. And we need vtta-ddb Beyond Integration. While we're at it, vtta-tokens is a really good companion for these two tools, because it will create the tokens automatically for you when you import a monster, and vtta-tokens is installed. I enable the module and you will see a live sign. Hey, the release notes, which are still better, but they are displayed and that means the module is working. And it means we should be able to connect now, so let's try that. Here we are. It is successful. On the lower left you will see that version 1.0.3 of the extension successfully connected. A word about release notes. You can hide them until you make an update, or you can just close and dismiss them for now, or you can start a tutorial. And the tutorial could be helpful for newer users. It's basically a set of things that you run through that will display some small tips about the user interface. It will guide you through everything you need to know, and this is basically what I'm doing right now in person. So let's reload it once to reset the tutorial, and let's hide this for once. If the release notes are hidden, you can go to the game settings, because as you know, when you install a module, you enable it, and after you enable it, you should configure it. And it's a little special with vtta modules now. You see that only vtta-core has an entry here, and it points to an open config button. So I tried to create a configuration screen that is used by all VTTA mods because they are working really closely together. So here you can see image settings and token settings, and the target directory for actor-related images is used by both vtta-ddb, where should I store the imported monster artwork, and vtta-tokens, where should I store the monster token that I generated. So it's the same setting, and instead of displaying it twice for both mods, it's consolidated. And I assume and I hope that I achieve my goal to provide a better, because less cluttered configuration panel for you. I will now make some changes. You see these are grayed out, so I cannot edit them directly. I need to use the buttons on the right to select the target directory for actor-related images. And if you are having access to an S3, I strongly advise to use that. If you're running on the Forge, you can use the asset library. All the modules are running and are certified compatible with the Forge. So let's go to Amazon S3 and create a new directory. And let's call it actors. Okay, I'm a little bit worried about these two dots. I've never seen them. I will see if it's really working or not. I will leave the rest as is. We got the 2 token default frames for NPCs and PCs, and perhaps let's ramp up the size of the tokens a little bit. We save the settings and we're basically good. Now we can go to D&D Beyond and let's have a look. Of course, my true friend, the greenish goblin, is my first bat. You will now see, and let's drag that to the right so we can have both windows available, that the extension already kicks in. It says, this entity seems to be missing, and it offers me an import button. And when I click it, it gets parsed and it gets imported. And of course it fails because of these 2 dots in the settings. So let's correct that and try again. I'll just reload to make sure. When I reload, I reconnect. So let's reload this tab too. And it says missing. Let's try again. No, this time it worked. So I just found a bug. Great. We also saw very briefly a token was generated. So let's look at what happened. All imported monsters, items, and spells will be sorted into folders for you. Not only within Foundry, but if you leave it at the default, the images are sorted in folders too. Let's have a look at how the goblin was created. It, of course, has all the actions, has all the features, has all the spells. Well, he's not a spellcaster. But you see, icons are already imported for you. The details are correct. And let's have a look at the image. You can see that it's in user data, under avatars, and this is an NPC, and it's a humanoid, and it says Goblin JPEG. Now all these things here, all these images are sorted based on their race and type. This is done automatically for you. You do not need to give a second thought to that if you want. Let's look at the token image. The token image is stored as in the exact same location, but named .token. This is because we use the same exact config setting for both modules. Target directory for actor-related images. Both the actual profile image and the token are actor-related images, so they are stored in the same location next to each other. Now let's look at what's happening when we refresh this page now. It says, okay, it's up to date. What does it mean? Now, all entities, the monsters, spells, and items, do have an attached version number to it. When I adjust the parser and it results in this entity being parsed, improved or corrected just differently, it will ramp up the version number by 1. So when you do have a goblin in your world and you just browse D&D Beyond, and D&D Beyond will check there's an update available, it will apply it automatically for you. You do not need to have to click anything at all. That way you have guaranteed to have the latest and greatest by just using the tools Foundry and D&D Beyond. Use them as designed, build encounters. Look at monsters, search and filter them for monsters on D&D Beyond. They will get updated if you are using them in your currently connected Foundry server. Now let's have a look at how can we import more than one monster perhaps. Let's drag that a little bit to the left in order to get a bit better overview about the user interface on D&D Beyond. And let's filter for something. For example, we will all core D&D, and they should be angels. Let's see, how many are they? How many angels does D&D Beyond know? Not too many. Okay. You see, you've got a start import button on the top right on every of those filterable lists. So you can adjust it to your liking and hit start import. And it will always import all that's displayed here. So if you've got multiple pages with next buttons, it will go to the next page and import the following page for you too. And with a goblin, so many Foundry messages here. As with the goblin, you will see that they are created and sorted in folders, and their artwork is downloaded and uploaded to a server, and the token is generated for you. So let's create a quick scene to validate that. The goblin is a little tiny, as you can see, because the algorithm, it really does the best to its abilities, but it will struggle with certain imagery. So it does not detect faces or something like that. It just tries to catch a region of the image that it thinks could be a good match. You might need to adjust. Adjusting is as easy as that. You open tokens, you rearrange, you hit save. And that's about it. In order to display the new token image, you need to refresh the tab once. Here you go. Remember, refreshing, reconnecting. So it's a good bad is better than no bad. Some of those are pretty usable, like this one looks rather cool, not being centered. It looks dynamic. This one looks a little off, but it's to your liking. You can adjust it easy, as you just saw. Now let's look at other things. Let's go over to like magic items. Now they found perhaps an amulet of health. You can see that if you uncollapse that, these things already appear and you can use them. And that's throughout all of D&D Beyond. Now the amulet of health is available for the goblin, and it is suddenly way more powerful. He now has this. So you go to details page, the same exact things happen. If you go to lists, the same exact things happen. You go to tools and use the great encounter builder. Let's build. Okay, I need to sign in. Whoa. That's a bummer. Ah, cool, it worked. Let's build an encounter with, you name it, a goblin. Let's see, it's up to date. It's everywhere. It's available for you to quickly create your encounters and to support you to be as flexible as possible. The same is true, for example, for like adventure module import. You will get your start import buttons to run you through the process, and everything will be done to the best of its abilities for you. So that's a quick demo of how to get started and what to expect from the extension and the tools. I hope you enjoy. Take care.